I need coffee. Oh, it got on my book. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Charlotte and today I'll be doing a reading wrap up of everything that I have read for Q3 of 2025, July, August, September. I have read a total of 6 books, which is one more than last quarter, so go me. I have written all my thoughts and opinions here to be like as concise as possible so I don't waffle on. I was told in school I had a habit of waffling. Let's get straight into it. The first book that I read in July was recommended to me by my friend Shannon. She recommends a lot of books to me, and this one she has been trying to get me and a lot of our friends to read for the longest time, and I should have listened to her. Because it was such a good recommendation. The book is Babel by R.F Kuang. If you haven't heard of it, where have you been living? It is a story that I don't even know how to describe it, but I'm going to try. It follows the story of a boy called Robin Swift, who is an orphan from Canton, China, who is brought to England by an Oxford professor, Professor Lovell, who is like a language teacher. He takes Robin to England with him and raises him to study languages and translation and things like that and literature, for the hopes that he will then be going to Oxford and study at Babel, which is the translation school, linguistics and translation school at Oxford. The story is very much magic realism. It is set in the, I believe, early 1800s, and it discusses a thing called silver work. So it kind of like plays with the idea of what if a lot of our industrial inventions and things were actually fueled by the like magic and silver. So an example is like the carts and the cars that like go along the road. It's like what propels them. It's not an engine, it's silver. And the way the silver works is it has the English word for like go or movement or whatever it is etched into the silver, but with it has to have a translation from like the purest form of that word, whether it be like Latin, Chinese, French. It has to go like, it pairs the modern English dialect with the origin of that word, and that is how the magic kind of works. So Professor Lovell needs students like Robin, who is able to study various languages and understand them so that they can continue this silver work. It is really quite fascinating. Very big themes of magic realism, colonialism, imperial expansion, racism, revolution. There's so much, because obviously Robin is he's a boy. He's not bisexual. He's biracial. So it kind of delves into the ideas of like colonialism, and very big on racism against Robin and people of color, and also very big like misogyny, because at the time obviously women weren't thought of in any high regard, and it made me feel incredibly intelligent to be able to read this book, and also incredibly dumb, because the ideas were wonderful, and the writing style, it genuinely felt like I was reading a text that had been written in the 1800s, but I know that the author knows how to use an iPhone. So it was a very strange experience, but I really, really recommend the book. The concept could be real. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I read this in a history book somewhere. It was so good. It was thought-provoking and reflective. It took me a little while to get through it because it was quite dense, but it was so captivating, and I gave it a 5 stars. So if you are looking for a magic realism book that will give you touch on all of those themes that I mentioned before, Babel is a great place to start. My hair was annoying me. We digress. The next book that I read in January and also progressed through to February and potentially March, it took me a really long time, is City of Souls and Sinners by Kayla Edwards. It is the sequel to A City of Gods and Monsters that I read way back, a couple quarters ago, or maybe last quarter. And it follows on the events from the first book. I can't really recall what those events were. I really struggle with this series. There is so much lore and there are so many characters, and it takes a while for my brain to wrap around. I'm constantly messaging my friend Shannon, who read it before me, like messaging her like, I know this person's supposed to be important, tell me who they are, like who is this person? And she's getting a little fed up with me. Anyway, the main character Loren and her boyfriend Darian Castle are caught up in more trouble in the underbelly world that is the city of Angel Thene within this book. I don't really know, I can't tell you the plot. It didn't stick with me. I struggled to keep up with, there's like plot A, plot B, plot C, plot D. There's a lot of plots happening in the book. I clearly did not come into this with a strong enough mind and willpower to understand everything, so I didn't get it. But I know that it delved deeper into Loren as a character. She was less of a wet blanket and she had a lot more agency, which I really enjoyed, because in the first book I didn't vibe with her. I just thought she was boring and I could not understand why most of the people in the city were fighting over her. Didn't get it. In this one I still don't get it, but she has a lot more agency and she's a bit more badass, and I really enjoyed that. Thank God for the character list at the end, which I didn't realise actually, because my friend told me, she was like, there's a character list at the end that lists all the characters and like which houses they're in and all that kind of stuff. Bless the author for remembering them all, because Jesus, her mind, insane. Not much for review because I can't remember anything about it, so I gave it 2.5 stars. It might have been generous. I can't remember. So the next book that I read is The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I, like most people, I'm sure, have fallen victim to Belly and her Fisher boys from The Summer I Turned Pretty on Amazon Prime. My friend Jess told me to watch it and I said, of course, I will. And I did. And we were messaging each other every Wednesday when the show was coming out, freaking out about the show. For those of you who haven't seen it, the show and the book, The Summer I Turned Pretty, follows the story of Isabel, or Belly. The name is weird. It takes a little time to get used to. But it follows the story of Belly, who is a girl who spends every summer at a summer house with her mum, her brother, her mum's best friend, and the best friend's two boys. So Belly and her brother Stephen grow up with her mum's best friend's children, Conrad and Jeremiah. And they spend every summer together throughout their childhood. And the book starts on the summer that Belly turns pretty. She's like 15 turning 16, I think. And, you know, she's the typical, she's got no braces off. She doesn't have her glasses anymore. She's learnt, you know, she's not so much of a, like, awkward little duckling. She's, you know, she's developing into a swan. And she is in love with the eldest brother, Conrad Fisher. The book follows the same rough plot as the show, obviously, but it doesn't provide as much character insights as the TV show does. The TV show is about 8 episodes long, and it really does go into more of the characters, like and Belly's mum, Belly's brother, like a lot of side characters have their time, but the book is set from Belly's point of view, so we don't get as many character insights as we do within the show. It's not surprising that the book is in Belly's point of view, but she is definitely an unreliable narrator, as we learn in the other books. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very simple premise. It did get a little bit emotional at times. If you've watched the show, you will know why. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading it. I listened to it though as an audiobook, and the audiobook is narrated by Belly. The actress who plays Belly, Lola Tung, and she's a very, very good narrator. It was great. So I gave the book 3.5 stars out of 5. The next book that I read is the sequel to The Summer I Turned Pretty, which is It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han. This book is set 1 year after the events of the first book. No spoilers, I promise. But I feel like it lacked the emotional charge that the show had. Belly felt like a bit of a lost lamb in this book, but I really enjoyed the depictions of how everyone handles grief differently. That was a huge theme in book 2, grief. And I really did feel like we grew with the characters, which was really great. Also, TV Laurel she has my heart over book Laurel. Laurel is Belly's mum. In the TV show, I think she's just so much better. They give her so much more depth than book Laurel. It was a good sequel. Oh, I gave it 4 stars. So I clearly thought it was better than the first book. So, yeah. Okay. The next book that I read was the final book in the trilogy, the Summer trilogy, which is We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. I can't give too much information because obviously if you haven't read it, you should go and read the other books first, but it does follow a similar plot to the TV show. So if you've watched the TV show, you will know what I'm talking about. The character of Jeremiah in this one was so unlikable. I really struggled to find his redeeming qualities. I feel like the story ended really neatly. I love Connie Baby. It was good. It was really nice. And again, it is narrated by Lola Tung. And I also believe it is narrated by Christopher Briney, who plays Conrad. And the sequel was actually narrated also by the actor who plays Jeremiah, Gavin. Forgotten his last name. I gave this one a 4 stars as well. I really enjoyed it. I got a little bit emotional, but it was a really nice, easy read, and I would recommend it. Okay, the last book that I read was recommended and given to me by my friend Chloe. It is called The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, but they are 2 writers. It's 2 authors, Christina and Lauren. They write together, and I will definitely be wanting to read some more of their books because it is a very interesting dynamic. This book, it follows the story of a woman. Shit, I forgot her name. This follows the story of Olive, whose twin sister is getting married. And her twin sister is the luckiest woman in the world. She wins competitions all the time. She gets free things. She's just so lucky. And Olive is the opposite. Bad things happen to Olive. She's the unlucky twin. And so her sister's getting married. She's won this competition. She's basically got her wedding for free or paying very minimal amount. And at the wedding, all of the guests get food poisoning, like severe food poisoning. And the only people who don't is Olive, because she has an allergy to something, and shellfish, I think it's shellfish, and the best man of the groom, Ethan, he doesn't get food poisoning either because he refuses to eat at buffets, so he had something different. So they're the only 2 out of the whole wedding party who don't get sick. Now, the premise is, and this isn't really a spoiler because it was in the blurb, is that Olive has to take her sister's honeymoon with Ethan because she won it in a competition. It's non-refundable and they can't go any other time. So if she doesn't go, it's just done. So because they're identical twins, she poses as her sister to go on a honeymoon to Maui in Hawaii with Ethan, the best man, who she cannot stand. They can't stand each other. It's like a classic enemies to lovers story. It is a classic miscommunication trope story as well. It really reminded me of the Adam Sandler movie Just Go With It. If you've read the book and you've seen the movie, you will know what I'm talking about. There is like, you know, they meet people from their past on the honeymoon. It's a whole fake dating kind of like situation. It really took me out of my reading slump that I was having, and I really enjoyed it. It was low stakes, it had witty banter, it was like, yeah, classic fake dating, predictable, but it had a real feel-good energy, and I could definitely see it as a rom-com in a film. It was great. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4.5 stars. It's not literary genius, but my star ratings are purely on like a vibe basis. So I really thought it was good, and I'm definitely recommending it to my friends who like to read rom-com style books because I think they will absolutely love it. So if you love reading rom-coms, The Unhoneymooners by Christina is for you. That is all I read this quarter. I have started reading a few books on the go for this quarter, and I'm thinking that I'm also going to do a like December Christmas book series because I have quite a few Christmas books that I have on my shelf that I need to get through. But as always, thank you so much for spending time with me, and I will see you in January for the final quarter wrap up. Take care, everyone.